In this section of the presentation, we are going to see the treatment options and the guidelines for treatment. These are similar to the recommendations for treatment of type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance, for hypertension, for dyslipidemia, for obesity and abdominal obesity, because these are the underlying mechanisms which cause fatty liver and NASH. So, the guidelines are: eat less fat, particularly saturated fat. The ratio of saturated fat to unsaturated fat should be less than 1. More of unsaturated fats and less of saturated fats. About 8 to 10% of the total fat calories should come from saturated fat. Remaining should be from the unsaturated fat. Keep the blood sugars normal. Drink less alcohol or no alcohol is better. Exercise regularly. Match the kilojoules of the energy that is consumed to the energy requirement of the body, depending on the existing body weight and the desired body weight and the desired weight reduction. And of course, do not smoke. These are the basic guidelines for treatment of any of these cardiometabolic diseases, and that applies, and these apply for NASH too. The therapeutic approach: controlling the risk factors, decrease of 10% in the BMI will give you wonderful benefit. Diet, as already discussed, which we have to eat more of unsaturated fats compared to saturated fats, reduce the amount of carbohydrates, keep the weight under check using balanced and then required calorific diet. Aerobic exercise at least 30 minutes every day for at least 6 days in a week, and wherever there is hypercholesterolemia, statins are indicated to be used. We will see some more about the treatment in the next slide. Using the approach that we have discussed in the previous slide, if there is no response after 6 months, the patient is at a higher risk for fibrosis. Mayo score has to be computed or liver biopsy has to be done to distinguish steatosis versus steatohepatitis. In majority of the cases, Mayo score will suffice. Liver biopsy is required only when we suspect cirrhosis. Add non-evidence based therapy, which we will see in the subsequent slides. What is non-evidence based therapy? Exercise is the cornerstone of therapy. Exercise confers several benefits, including controlling dyslipidemia, controlling dysglycemia, increasing the HDL, reducing the fatty liver, improving the insulin resistance, so on and so forth. Benefit of exercise even without weight reduction. Suppose the patient is exercising and he says, okay doctor, I am not able to bring down my weight. Does not matter. The exercise still confers the benefit. Biochemical improvement in liver enzymes occurs due to exercise. Variable histological improvement, variable effect on progression to cirrhosis. Exercise alone may not be sufficient to improve the histology and the progression to cirrhosis, but otherwise these aspects can be taken care of by regular simple aerobic exercises, as we have discussed in the previous slide. What are the potential candidate drugs for NAFLD? Insulin sensitizers. We know glitazones, PPAR gamma activators, and metformin are good insulin sensitizers. Lipid lowering agents, PPAR alpha activators like lofibrate, gemfibrozil, fenofibrate. Future potential treatments like antifibrotics, probiotics, silymarin and selenium. Of course, membrane stabilizing agents which will help in preventing the oxidative stress in the liver, ursodeoxycholic acid, also known as UDCA. We will discuss about this a bit in the subsequent slides. Betaine is nothing but S-adenosyl methionine. This has also been tried and found to have positive effect on the membrane stabilizing front in the liver. Antioxidants, vitamin E, not much of promise, not much of improvement. Vitamin C, similar are the results. Lecithin, beta carotene, B complex group of vitamins. These are some of the non-evidence based treatments. So these have got some evidence based trials, and this evidence based treatment is around these things. These are the future treatments. These are the membrane stabilizing oxidative stress reducing agents, and these are the non evidence based treatments that we can think of in a case of fatty liver and NASH. This table summarizes several interventions that are studied. Weight loss, PPAR gamma agonists like glitazones, bigonides, metformin, PPAR alpha agonists like clofibrate, gemfibrozil and fenofibrate, UDCA, N-acetylcysteine, NAC, betaine, nothing but SAM, that is S-adenyl methionine, and vitamin E. So these are the interventions studied, and this is the evidence that they could find out decrease in the insulin resistance, increase in the insulin sensitivity, decrease in the fat with PPAR gamma, bigonides increase in the HIS and increase in the cyclic AMPK activity, and PPAR alpha increased benefits, and then the membrane stabilizing drugs decreasing the hepatic injury. And these are the benefits that we can see that these drugs have produced, and listed here are the trials or the various references from which this particular table is formed. Some more information on the drugs that are evaluated, the author, the study drug, the number of patients studied, the enzyme, particularly SGPT enzyme, and the histology. Look here, all the studies that are listed here have shown an improvement in the enzyme front. That means whether you give UDCA or N-acetylcysteine or vitamin A or glitazones or vitamin E or metformin, these are the PPAR gamma stimulators or activators, and metformin. In all these studies, though the number of patients are small, they have documented good improvement in the liver enzymes. But improvement in the histology front is seen with UDCA in one study. In the other studies, UDCA did not show any improvement. Again, glitazones showed some improvement in one study. Vitamin E results are conflicting, and the other studies with metformin and rosiglitazone did not show any histological improvement. So much so, the evidence is almost equivocal. Some studies documenting improvement in histology, some studies documenting no improvement, but all the studies have shown a good improvement as far as the liver enzymes, particularly the SGPT, is concerned. In the next slide, we will look at the management algorithm for a case of fatty liver. Okay, with the evidence of clinical parameters and the lab parameters, we say that a patient has probable NAFLD. Then trial of weight reduction, exercise, dietary changes, improved lipid and diabetic control, complete cessation of alcohol, discontinuing all potential hepatotoxic drugs. That would be the first step whenever we see a patient of probable fatty liver. Even when supposing there is evidence of confirmed NASH either by biopsy or by Mayo score, then also the first step would be to intervene in this matter. Then after 6 months, we do the LFTs again. If there is an improvement in the LFTs and they become normal, observe the patient. Supposing the LFT, that is the enzymes, are still elevated, then that patient deserves a liver biopsy to see whether liver biopsy shows steatosis or cirrhosis. If it is steatosis, again this treatment will suffice. If it is cirrhosis, he requires further care in a hepatology unit under the guidance of a hepatologist. It may show in between changes like NASH. It is not just fatty liver, it is not cirrhosis, but there is inflammation, there is some fibrosis, there is NASH. In such cases, consider the non-evidence based treatment like antioxidants and entry into some newer clinical drug trials or UDCA, NAC, SAM, which is betaine. All these drugs can be tried. Of course, rosiglitazone and pioglitazone if the patient has diabetes or prediabetes. Ursodeoxycholic acid, also known as UDCA. The evidence of efficacy of UDCA in NASH and NAFLD is equivocal. That means some studies are showing good evidence of improvement, some studies are not documenting any improvement compared to the placebo. But of course, this drug is useful in other liver conditions like cholestasis, PBC, PSC, acute viral hepatitis, hepatitis B infection, hepatitis C infection. PBC is primary biliary cirrhosis, PSC is primary sclerosing cholangitis. Chronic hepatitis, alcoholic liver disease, and in gallstones, this drug, UDCA, is useful. But in NAFLD and NASH, the studies show that UDCA is equivocal in patients who are not responding to the other measures like diet, exercise, and controlling the risk factors. Of course, UDCA can be an add-on therapy. This UDCA belongs to class E drug as far as pregnancy is concerned, so it cannot be used in COP. COP is cholestasis of pregnancy. In that particular condition, usually in pregnancy, some amount of cholestasis develops and UDCA cannot be used because it is a class E drug as far as the pregnancy is concerned. So, to summarize the drug treatment, there is no one single effective drug which treats NASH or NAFLD. NAFLD and NASH may resolve with weight loss. Liver fat content decreases, no effect of weight loss on fibrosis and inflammation. Diet and exercise improve insulin sensitivity, increase oxidative capacity and utilization of the free fatty acids through beta oxidation. Weight loss has clear benefits for cardiovascular risk and type 2 diabetes. So, that must be encouraged, and any drug treatment is rather empirical at the moment.